Cool. We are live as far as I know.
Ivan, thanks
Awesome.
for having me on your
Hey,
live stream today.
thanks for hopping on. So if anybody's watching this with us, please give a thumbs up, comments, etc. So Jill is my sister from another mister. She's very gifted in the area of tech, and as much as I think I am, there are some things when it comes to Ecamm, Restream, other stuff where I'm like, Jill, help me out, because I'm like, I'm lost. And she's chuckling because we spent probably 30 minutes already contending with some stuff where I'm like, my interface looks a little different, etc. So there you are. Cool. Hey, Jill. Jill left a comment for us.
Hey. So what I'm gonna do during this live stream is not only just chat with my good friend Ivan, but I'm also bouncing around between Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn to make sure that everything is, going off without a hitch. Especially with LinkedIn because it's kind of a new platform to stream to. There have been times where I've had issues where I think I'm streaming to LinkedIn and I'm not.
Yeah, and tell me about that, because early on you were experiencing that with some of the work that you've been doing with MEDC, et cetera. So tell me,
Yes.
what were some of the hiccups along with that?
Oh, well, I just did it. I just made another comment from LinkedIn. So it looks like you are not experiencing the issues that I had. Although I'm going to just test the audio real quick.
Yeah, no doubt. Go
Perfect.
for it.
It's working. So the first time I was so excited when I got the approval to stream to LinkedIn. I'm like, yeah,
Right.
yeah. I was
It's
so
a big deal.
excited, especially for some of the corporate work that I'm doing. LinkedIn is the right place for that. But I didn't read through the directions clear enough. So basically, when I first tried streaming to LinkedIn, I was pushing out 60 frames per second, and my bit rate was too high. So basically, what I was pushing out was not the right settings. So
Right.
it wasn't able to be encoded and available. And then the second time, I thought I fixed it, but I still must have had a setting wrong in my video encoder software because then I just was pushing out audio and no video. So
Oh,
I
really?
accidentally made
Okay.
a podcast. But
Did
now,
you wind up doing anything with that, or the audio only, or did you try to rebroadcast afterwards?
no, we're going to be doing, I did share the YouTube link. So luckily when we stream at MEDC, we also have other team members in the chat on the different platforms just checking. So when they realized that just audio was coming through, they then quickly took that post down off of LinkedIn and then made a post on LinkedIn saying, hey, we're live on YouTube, join us there. So
Awesome.
just
Awesome.
redirecting the audience.
So to explain too, I don't think I shared this with you because we ran into our stream last week, like literally, like I'm doing stuff in our software, etc. And this here, like, let me see if I can click on it. Yeah, I can. Oops. I locked everything to your point earlier about making sure scenes and stuff don't move, etc.
Yeah.
And that IBF live stream show is actually covering up what says test stream, and
Hey.
it was made in another in another software, and I'm like, we can't, like, we're about to go live in like 10 minutes and I can't change this. So made another overlay and just put that over there. So there's actually under that the other little whatever shape under
Yeah, yeah,
there.
yeah. Rounded rectangle.
Yes, rounded rectangle. So well, cool. I thank you so much
Yeah.
for helping me work through this. So the reason behind this too is we want to be able to stream to multiple platforms simultaneously. So what that means is we can go live to Facebook, live to LinkedIn, live to YouTube, etc. with this sort of setup. So we stream using a particular software that then aggregates it and sends it out there. So
I had an interesting conversation with another creator from the same space that we hang out in. And I was saying, man, I love Ecamm Live because I can set up my scenes how I want, exactly how you've done here. Anything I can think to do, I can do. I can integrate B-roll. And I mean, it's just such a great, easy to use Mac-based live streaming software. But I was like, I wish I could multi-stream from there. However, someone brought it up to my attention that what's that word you always use, Ivan, for having the backup to a backup?
Redundancies.
Redundancies. So actually having a different software like Restream be in charge of taking that feed and pushing it to all these other platforms is actually smart because should for some reason my Ecamm software just crash, my stream doesn't need to crash, and should Restream crash, Ecamm might not. So like I didn't look at it in that way. And so anyways, that was just an interesting conversation I had recently where I was like, oh no, that's really smart to have those redundancies, to have this taken care of there. And actually Restream's cool because it's recording this right now should you need it, as is Ecamm.
So we have multiple, and you and I both discussed this, using our cameras too, when we're doing live in-person production, streaming, recording in camera at the same time. So there's like 3 or 4 backups in case everything goes catastrophic. We lose power.
Yes.
We're running things on batteries, etc. So
now, Ivan, were you able to see in your comments section, were you able to see all 3 comments that I made?
Yeah, I see hey, and testing comments. So Facebook, Perfect. LinkedIn, and YouTube as well. So I got all of those coming in. So Yay. Looks like we're set for my guest tomorrow, which would be great because that'll be an in-studio, and then we'll be able to put out to all 3 platforms simultaneously. So
you can set up that link today so that you can give people the heads up, hey, we're going to be going live in 12 hours or in 24 hours.
Yep.
And then people can share on their own platforms, hey, here's a live stream you don't want to miss. So Restream scheduling option is just great for that.
So that particular link that Restream creates, right? So at the end, when you create this event, is that what you normally share out on socials?
No,
you go natively with each platform?
Yes, because we have followers that are in different ways. I think the Restream one pushes people back to Restream as opposed to your platforms.
Got it. So that's why probably we're not seeing anybody from Ecamm, because I just, let's see here.
Let me hop over to Ecamm.
Yeah, why don't you go ahead and do that.
So did you share that link?
I shared the Restream generated link.
Right,
so I'm gonna share.
If you share the Facebook link, that might be the way to go.
The Facebook one? Sorry.
Yeah. Okay, so I don't see it on Ecamm's Facebook. So what I can do is I'll go over to yours. And you're streaming to your personal or to
personal
your business?
And my business, it looks like.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to share this to. I'm going to copy it and then. So yeah, that's the other thing that we were finding out, right? We were struggling. I'm able to add our Ecamm group in Restream and stream to there, but I don't think you were having the option to. Let me do this. What should I write? Hey guys, we're doing a quick test to join us. Right. Here we go. Let's see if we can get that view count to go from 2 to 3.
Ooh.
Whoa.
It will if you change that green screen background.
So anybody that's watching this, the reason why this is still green is because I'm wearing a green shirt. And I had it set to these bricks, which are like built in, cool background, love it, Ecamm, go. And then I was like, my shirt is green. Now bricks.
Yes. Bricks and plaid, right?
Yeah. Who doesn't love plaid bricks?
Start an Etsy shop. You got it, Jill. Bricks and plaid with Miss Jill.
Oh, it's cool though. I just jumped into the Facebook stream, and the latency is really low. Like it's a very small delay.
Cool, cool.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing that as well. I'm going to go back to the eCam interface. I'm going to close out my browser there, so that's not going active in the background too. So
Right.
what's new in your world? What else you got going on, working on?
Ivan, so many things. So I'm working for the school. I do my contract gig with the Economic Development Corporation, and then I do social media for a restaurant around here. But what I've really been like rattling around with is, well, I'm building a website, so I'm trying to like separate kind of like fun Miss Jill content and then have my company kind of come out. So I'm working with one of the eCam content creators, JP High Tech. Shout out to JP. So he's going to be setting up my website. But then I'm also, I keep playing around with this idea of doing online courses, and you're in this process too, and it's a little intimidating. And so like having community people and conversations with friends like you and other people that are at different stages who maybe have done this before or it's on the horizon. I don't know. I think there's huge potential, and it's
There is.
having great conversations is building up my confidence enough to say, all right, I do need to dedicate some time to this, because as a parent, it's like, I want to do a couple things. I want to build something that if my kids want to then have as I do want to leave a legacy for my kids. I totally want to do that. And I also would love to have some passive income so that I can have the freedom to really live a fun life, doing things with the kids and not being so busy. So
Fun loving, right?
shut up. Okay, for anybody that's watching right now, Ivan is doing a dig on me because look, I'm literally blushing.
It was an inside joke. I was going to leave it at that. You can.
No,
you
it
can.
was an inside joke because we were talking about cringy email addresses, and my first cringy email address was funloveandcuteGirl@AOL.com. There. Are you happy?
Yes, my cheeks are sore too.
All right, you
That's
need to
great.
dish. What was your cringiest email address?
I don't think
something super vanilla.
It is.
My name is Ivan at AOL.com.
Yeah, it was.
Your birthday or something.
Yeah, I don't even. That is the oldest Gmail account I have. I don't remember what the other ones were, but I worked in youth ministry for, Lord knows, like 14 years. So my first Gmail account was Youth Guy Ivan, and I use it still for like nothing. It's like a throwaway email account. So
Youth Gay.
Youth
So-
Gay.
What are you working on? What are you currently like have coming up, and then what are you brainstorming, thinking about in the new year?
Yeah, thanks for asking. So really just kind of working through the same ideas that we've been bouncing back and forth. Like, okay,
Yeah.
how do we help people kind of wrap their minds around using live streaming to make a livable, not only a livable income, but can do well with it, right? So like,
Yeah.
so looking at the whole idea of course creation. So taking December to do some of that. We've got some stuff that we're working on with eCam from our streams. When was that? Was that February when you and I worked together?
Yeah.
And then you came
can't
back a
remember.
month later. I think it was in March. So our behind the scenes stuff, but then filler stuff in between where it makes sense. It's not just, disparate,
Right.
like here's my footage and your footage, but
And
rounded
that's your background in like making documentaries, right?
Right. So this is kind of different because
Yeah.
it is not, I'm used to pointing the camera and like extracting stuff out versus engaging in this sort of medium, right? Doing the live streaming
Yeah.
thing and talking and having conversations in this realm. But it's really kind of what we do anyway when we're on set and we're having conversations and looking to pull stuff out from people. So that being said, I think there's a real opportunity there when it comes to course creation. You and I were talking, you've got a big Brazilian following. Obviously the stuff that you're doing in live production is huge. And then for myself, I think we got a live stream coming up. We started our own. This is little janky thing down here I shared with Jill earlier. I did to cover up because when I was in Adrian Salisbury's test, you get your feet wet with Ecamm.
Yeah.
I made a test, this test screen thing, and it says test stream. And then we were about to go live last week with a guest in studio here. And I'm like, oh my gosh, we got to cover that so then I'm like, IBF live stream show. Like, all right, resize, cover it, and we're off to the races. So I think the exciting thing for me is being able to just spend some time delving more into Ecamm, using it for our own purposes, being known as an authority in our area and potentially outside of our area so that people can, go from there. Oh, Al came on. He shared, hey, saw you guys for a minute. Then got an error message. Sorry, we're having trouble playing this video. So, yeah, I don't know
Good
what's...
feedback. All right, let me hop over to Facebook.
All right, thanks, Al. Thanks for that. Appreciate that.
And then, now that we've been streaming here for a little bit, I'll go back and recheck the other platforms as well.
Yeah, so if I go into Ecamm 2, I can go under, I can check, because I have a pro account, stream, like the stream health, right?
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember what that is.
All right, I just
bandwidth.
Facebook looked fine on my end. But I think we were most concerned about LinkedIn,
so Al just,
right?
Al just jumped back in. May have been on my end. Hey, Al, thanks so much. Appreciate that.
Yeah,
for,
that's what
for
this
some
is all
feedback.
about.
Yep. Because we want to test this. I have a guest coming in, an executive director locally for our library. Last week I had an executive director from Habitat for Humanity from the local area. So one of the things that we want to do is hit all those socials. And I think particularly for me, LinkedIn is key. That's my jam. Facebook, not so much. So
LinkedIn is your jam.
Dude, I was linked in with the CEO of Chick-fil-A. Like, come on. Yeah. He just passed the baton. But I think I've invested enough in that company where he probably pulled up my account and was like, yeah, this guy likes us. So
he likes that Polynesian sauce, though, I'll tell you what. And those shakes. Ugh.
Oh,
Throw
now
my diet right out the door.
The Christmas shakes.
Oh, they have Christmas shakes.
Throw them out every opening. Blow the roof off.
Every opening. Okay, so for some reason my screen is refreshing constantly.
Yeah, I see that. So this is nice too. Oh, are you seeing that in Facebook?
So yeah,
Jill?
as a guest in Ecamm.
Really, you can see the comments too?
Yep.
No way.
On how you,
Look at
which
this.
is super helpful. I can't make them go on the screen. You're still the producer.
Yep.
One small thing I'm noticing, Ivan, on your overlay, there's a thin black bar on the top and a thin black bar on the bottom. So I'm wondering later if you want to unlock that border.
I see.
Stretch it a tiny bit.
So the frame here. Ooh.
Yep. If you're able to.
Yeah, I unlocked it now, and then it shows that it's
full screen.
Yeah. So.
Maybe it's dimensions are slightly off. I don't know. It looks
different
I know. For me.
Yeah, no doubt. Because I think I did 1920 by 1080. So dimensionally speaking, it should be.
Dimensionally speaking. All right, I'm gonna go on Facebook and see if it's stuttering. So I'm just gonna let you talk for a second while I look over here.
No worries. Thank you so much. Yeah, Al. So sorry, man. So it says he got booted out again. We don't have bouncers, man. So I don't know what happened. Facebook's got their algorithmic bouncers coming at you for some reason. And Al's looks like one of the only people that has been watching. So you okay? I see you
I'm only
holding.
laughing because I'm like, it's bizarre to like hear you and then you and then you. And
Oh no, is it looping? So I
it was
probably
only
have.
doing that because I had you on as a monitor. I'm listening to you live
Oh,
and then I'm
okay.
watching it. So I'm
Okay.
not experiencing that same thing. But I don't know.
Yeah, and same for me. I'm not seeing anything. Oh yeah, I see that weird thing. I just clicked on Facebook and I'm like,
Oh, you know
uh,
what? I did notice it was just clipping in Facebook,
oh,
but I don't. Maybe let's watch it on the replay and see what's going
okay,
on.
we'll check it out.
Um, but at least it seemed clean on. I would definitely recommend going back to YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook and rewatching this
Yep.
before you delete it if you do want to delete it to take it down.
So this is pretty cool with LinkedIn. I just happened to go over there
Hmm.
and it shows the live stream that you and I are on, but as like the banner
Banner,
above. That's pretty
which is
slick.
great because when you're looking at when you're in LinkedIn and you want to go and be a creeper, mm, not that I would be, not this guy. But sometimes it's hard to, it's not like Facebook where you click on the person's profile and then you see all the stuff that they've been doing or tagged in. It's a little like you have to go to activity and it's not as easy to find necessarily. So I do like that feature that if someone is live in LinkedIn, it kind of, if you land on their page, it's like it takes up the whole and then you can click on it and watch it and interact with it and all that stuff.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So, Al, I'm sorry that that happened to you. And then someone else left a comment, but it was on my personal page, so it's not showing up in the comments and reactions. But he said there were some buffering issues, and
Mm.
um, I don't. Yeah, we'll watch it on replay and see what
Yeah.
came of it. So cool.
Yeah,
Thank
because
you.
if
Oh,
there's a
go ahead.
risk, if there's a risk through if rewatching this back, you have those issues on all of your different platforms, then what I would maybe recommend is to, if you're still wanting to stream to all of your platforms, use the other program that you have and then just have a tab open with the comments and talk back to people until you can do
Mm,
another test to sort it out.
to kind of iron it out. Yep.
Yeah. And then maybe toggle one thing off and change, like I don't know.
What are the speeds you're working with at MEDC? Do you know, like your up down?
Yeah, it's funny. We're about to upgrade our internet or have a different one just for live streaming because we have had a little bit of issues. We're consistently at 40 upload speed, which is
Mm.
not high enough for my requirements.
Do you have any Grey
Especially
Poupon? Yeah.
but if I do like my speed test here where I'm at in the school, I'm wired in. Well, actually, I think I'm running off of no. I'm on Ethernet. My download speed's already over 500, and I'm
Oh
sure
my
my upload
goodness.
speed's going to be like 200 or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, my upload speed's 260. So that's nice.
Oh, great. Al got back to us too. I'm sure you saw that comment. He was on
Okay.
desktop. Switched to my iPad. So far, so good. Al, thanks so much for checking this out. This conversation between Jill and I really do mean that. So,
Ivan, I got a question for you.
yeah.
If you do live stream like this tomorrow with your guest, do you want to move this title here up and then have this space on the bottom reserved for integrating those comments? Or are you not wanting it to be totally interactive? Because that's something that
I could put it like
I've
right here.
if you could do that, that would be perfect. I was talking about the IBF.
I know. Yes, we're gonna clean that up before tomorrow's show. And actually, our guest will be here in studio. So Noah, who's kind of doing a bit of everything here. He's primarily our editor, but what he's going to be doing is helping me set up the cameras because we're going to have two stools. I won't be this close to the table or the monitors for that matter. I'll be pushed out. She'll be off to the right where you are. We'll have another camera on her. And then last week we used NDI with my iPhone to give us a wide shot because you've helped me navigate this the media mod, which is for the GoPro, which is fine. Let me get that right there. Yeah.
Cool.
The media mod for the GoPro Hero 8, I think we have black, but it's a pain in the neck. Like,
Yeah.
the screen goes black. You got to hit certain buttons, and then you're hoping
And
that
you
you
know
got
what?
it.
When you finally got it communicating as a video input for streaming, it wasn't giving you the image that it can. And so, like, instead of playing with it and watching tutorials on how to set it up, if you know that your phone NDI is going to work and be great, do whatever is going to save you time, you know? Maybe
Right, and
down the
that
line, if you want to use it, then, but not
and
as
it
something rushed like that.
and it worked great. So like this setup was for our guest last week, and then I was able to crop his image in through one of the scenes so that it looked like it was a different camera, but it was obviously cropped in closer
Yeah.
to him, and then we could focus on him, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I love that. That's good.
But all right, cool. I think our oops. See, that's what happens when you don't lock your
Gotta lock
your
your
overlays.
little overlays. So you are going to free up that space on the bottom here. Are you going to recreate your border?
Yep, exactly. Because again, Adrian does a great job of taking people through. I'm messing around
Yeah.
with it now. Taking people through.
You know what another option is? Oh, sorry.
No, go for it.
That might be a time saver because Ecamm now, if you set your scene as blank, and then you bring in your gradient background, not as a frame, but just as a full screen, then now that we have the camera overlay, you can do a border on it. You don't need to tuck things back behind that frame. Does that make sense?
It does.
So you start your scene with your gradient. You add your cameras if you want to have a little bit of a border.
Your camera was like product. So tell everybody, since I got you on, what new camera you've got and the functions. It was funny because it was like bling bling. It was like trying to catch your rings or something. Yeah. This marker print was made by this pen. Yeah.
It's the oh shoot, I'm gonna mess it up because I always do. It's the ZX10 A10 something or another. It's the newest Sony that Doc forced me to get because he was making fun of all my Canon stuff. But it's got this great feature where it immediately will help you.
Dude,
focus
no
on the
doubt.
product. The only bad thing is that if you talk with your hands a lot, it might pick up on that. Also, if you haven't had a manicure in a while, it's a decision. But it is really cool. So
Awesome.
yeah, if I feel like to save yourself time, if you didn't have to recreate that, and you can just that would be easier. And really, they're little. If you set a border and you pull the opacity of the color down to like Charles, hey
I know.
Charles, love that. If you pull the opacity down to like 30, then it'll kind of feel a little more nested and not so flat on top. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I like that.
But it's not cheese. And you can even make like a dark blue, but still pull that opacity down.
Yes.
And it'll feel a little bit.
Yeah, I kind of want to do something Christmassy. I'm kind of inspired by everyone that's doing this Vlogmas stuff and their cool little like designs and stuff. So we'll probably go into Final Cut, make, an animated WebM border with opacity, and we'll see. We'll mess around with it. So I think for the rest of today, we'll be working on our cameras. We'll be working on our graphics. Because honestly, and you and I talked about this, right? When we were streaming about like the Mac Mini stuff and the peripherals, right? The stuff like this via Bluetooth. I was like, I don't know, about 3 more feet back behind me.
Yeah.
And my mouse just would not connect. And so I was stuck on this scene the whole time with the guests, like I would say 10 or 15 minutes. And then finally, like I got close enough where I was like in the air doing it. Yeah. And then it worked. So
then do you need to have, if you have your Stream Deck, can you have your Stream Deck wired long enough? And I have found that
dude, you're the
USB
master when it comes to that. Oh, that's why I was watching your tutorial on this is how you do this, like slick,
transition.
Transition. I'm like, these are things that I'm gonna like grow into. For right
Yeah.
now, I'm just like,
No, do whatever.
let's get this out. But that's
Easy
the
and
goal,
clean.
right? That's
Yeah.
the goal. So here,
Yeah.
Charles said autofocus is super quick. Is at the ZVE10.
Yes.
Dude, that is slick. And that's a Sony.
Yeah, it's a Sony. I can't believe I finally joined the Sony world, but I'm plugged in USB because I didn't have my micro HDMI. I gotta tell you, like, I'm not disappointed with this just plugged in USB.
Right.
I mean, I'm not utilizing the green screen because again, if you're joining us, I'm wearing a green. I did the brick background, and then I had like bricks through my shirt, and I'm like, it's fine. I'll just cover up. Ivan. And I look like a weirdo.
You looked like what's that show? It's like Handmaid's Tale or something or whatever.
Oh yeah.
I've never watched it, but you like look like when you did that, you reminded me of like, yes. I have no idea what the show is about, so don't hate me.
It's an intense show. I watched it all and it was awesome. I don't know that you would like it, but it was good.
If it's like horror or abuse or something, I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
So
I'm the only
yeah,
Canonite. Charles, no, listen, man. I love my Canon 80Ds. I have 2 of them. I love all my lenses with them. I have been diehard Canon, but literally friggin' Doc, and he just like pressured me when he was here doing the studio build, and he's like, "Listen, you just got to do this." I bought this camera months ago, and then at Black Friday, I got a lens for it that was marked down 50% off.
oh my
And
goodness.
yeah, I was super psyched. And then, yeah, I got to say, I do really, really, really like this camera. It does. Like right out, it probably took 10, 15 minutes to figure out all the settings I would have to change. But yeah.
I think the only thing that I notice about it, and it might be just in your settings too, is it seems to like want to adjust exposure. So like
I might
when you
not
move,
have the lighting set up.
yeah, because it keeps like almost like it's hunting for what sort of lighting. And Charles, I got to say, I'm a Canon guy myself. So I've got 2 cinema cameras, a C100 Mark II, which is I'm using as a webcam, which is way overkill. And then, oh, where's your comment? Oh, there's a thumbs up. I was like, where'd it go? And then another one. So that's what we'll use in our studio tomorrow for, this kind of give back season, right? Holidays. So me personally, for me and my business, we're highlighting and focusing on nonprofits in our community. So a lot of times their budgets are limited. They don't have the opportunity to maybe bring us on for a project, but we can at least give them a platform where people can tune in and find out a little bit more. And it kind of puts us out there as being able to, help fulfill on live streaming or et cetera.
Yeah.
So, all right, sister.
Can I ask a question before we hop off?
Yeah, absolutely.
Charles, if you are still watching, are you watching us on a computer? And if so, are you experiencing any stuttering? Or are you watching, like, I'm just curious on what device anybody, actually, there's a few people watching us right now. Just let us know where you're watching us and whether you're watching us from a phone, a computer, an iPad, and let us know if there's any like strange turnaround or looping or anything like that. Cause someone was, AJ or Al was letting us know that there was an issue on a computer. So I figured I'd throw that out there before we hop off.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for thinking ahead like that. Cause I'm just like, durr. No, super helpful. And thank you. Jill spent the morning, here. Okay. So Charles, I'll bring up your comment real quick. I'm in my phone. There's no stuttering or lagging, buffering. I'm seeing great. Thank you so much for that, Charles. Really appreciate the feedback. And then Steven, Ecan community Steven. Looks good to me. Thanks so much, Steven. Cool. You look good too, dude. So
good.
All right.
You look nice with that shirt.
Yeah. Yeah. It wasn't green either. So
I failed. Computer.
Oh, and okay, Steven's on computer. Great. Cool. So I'm wondering if Al was just experiencing stuff. Maybe he had stuff running in the background or what have you.
Yeah, and we'll go ahead and look back at all those platforms as well to kind of watch the playback and figure out what needs to change and all that.
Yep. Well, I so appreciate your time, your expertise. So Jill helped me this morning figuring out Restream because I bought it at the 50% off, Thanksgiving sale. And I'm like, before that, we use Switchboard Live, which is great because I have a lifetime license to that. But unfortunately, it doesn't allow you to bring comments in from platforms, which is a big disappointment because I want this to be interactive with folks that are watching. So that's kind of a no-go for me, especially if I'm the one operating and interviewing at the same time. And we're doing it in studio. So we're dealing with lighting and cameras and the whole nine. It's what all of us are doing already, except times 2 or times 3 now, because we're doing different setups and making sure other people look and sound good as well. So, but anyway, I think what you should do is post this as well, like afterwards, put the link for that camera and lens from your storefront on this. Yeah. Cause I'm interested in that. And then you and I were talking about those headphones, which I'm not going to mention because I want to buy them first.
Hey.
And get ahead of everyone. But then, I think that'd be great because you bring value all the time. I so appreciate your friendship and, just you taking the time today. Like we've been live for 36 minutes, but we probably spent a half hour before that trying to figure out Restream and everything else. So you've been super generous with your time. I just want to tell you, I appreciate you and thank you.
Thanks. I appreciate you too. It's so incredibly mutual. We're really lucky to have this friendship.
Absolutely. And it's because of Ecamm.
Ecamm
for the win. All right. Take care. I'll talk to you later. And thanks everybody for tuning in, watching, and helping us work through, particularly me, because it's not Jill. Jill knows all the things.
Oh, wait.
That way. Yeah, I gotta do that. I know I did the same thing. I was like, course correction.
There we go.
Knows all the things when it comes to live streaming. I'm still like, huh? So, all right, folks. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll talk to you later. Take care. Bye.